This is the homework video for the Friday homework of 5/20/16. In this scenario, Aspen is raising money to buy a car. She has already saved some money and continues to save money every week. The first question asks us to graph the data to show the relationship between weeks, W, and money saved, D. We have this table here, and we have to set up our X and Y axis. In this scenario, the x-axis would be W, or weeks, because it's the independent variable. And the y-axis would be D, or money saved, because that depends on the weeks. I set it up, my x-axis goes up by 1, and my y-axis is going up by 50, but I only wrote every other term. And then we simply graph the points given to us in the table, and label the axes weeks, money saved, and Aspen's car. The second question asks us to use substitution to find the y-intercept and then write an equation that shows the relationship between weeks, W, and money saved, D. So equations are written as y equals mx plus b. However, we don't use y and x in the scenario because it gives us W and D. So in the form for our equation would be D equals mw plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. To find the slope, we can go up here and do carets, as I did, to find the differences in the x values and the differences in the y values. Slope is equal to the change in y over the change in x, so I took where x went up by 2 and y went up by 100, and 100 divided by 2 is 50. So we then have D equals 50W plus B. I inserted these points, 8, 500, to get 500 equals 50 times 8 plus B. 50 times 8 is 400, so we have 500 equals 400 plus B. I subtracted 400 by both sides to get 100 equals B. So the y-intercept is 100, and the equation is D equals 50W plus 100. The third question asks, what is the slope of the equation? We use the same method we just used to find the slope in our equation, and find the change in y over the change in x, or the change in d over the change in w. I took the difference between week 5 and 8, which is 3 for the change in weeks and 150 for the change in dollars. 150 over 3 equals 50, so the slope is 50. 4 asks, what does the slope mean in terms of how much Aspen saves? So every time W increases by 1, D increases by 50. So for every 1 week she saves $50 more. Question 5 asks, what is the y-intercept of the equation? So in question 3, we found the slope. So we can use the original equation, y equals mx plus b, or d equals mw plus b, and plug in the slope, and have d equals 50w plus b. I then plugged in the point 12, 700, and added them to the equation to get 700 equals 12 times 50 plus b. 12 times 50 equals 600, so 700 equals 600 plus b. I then subtracted 600 from both sides to get 100 equals b, so b is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when x is equal to 0, and that's whatever y is equal to. That means that that is the point where the line on the graph intercepts the y-axis. So this means that the point 0, 100 is on the graph. So after 0 weeks, she already has $100, or she starts with $100. 7 asks us to use the equation to show how much money Aspen would save after 24 weeks. Since this is in weeks, we plug it into the weeks variable to get D equals 50 times 24 plus 100. That then turns into, when we multiply 50 times 24, that then turns into D equals 1200 plus 100. So D is equal to 1300. So after 24 weeks, Aspen has saved $1,300. This one asks us to use the equation to find how long it would take Aspen to buy a car that is $6,000. This time they give us the D variable, so we plug it in there instead, which gives us 6,000 equals 50W plus 100. I subtracted 100 from both sides, giving us 5,900 equals 50W, and then divided both sides by 50 to get 118 equals W. So it takes 118 weeks for Aspen to buy a car that is $6,000.